All right, thanks, guys. The Wizards take on the Pistons, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Detroit. The Pistons are the 6.5-point favorite at home, total at 230. Now, we saw a half a point move toward Detroit and movement downward on the total. The Pistons open as the 6-point favorite, up to minus 6.5. Total open 231, down to 230. 52% are leaning Washington, 58% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Wizards are plus 225 on the money line. Washington has also successfully covered the point spread in 3 out of their last 5 games. They're also 11-7 against the spread on the road for the season. Believe it or not, they rank in the top 3 in scoring, top 5 in three-point percentage. Bradley Beal's averaging 28 points a game, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. This Washington offense is averaging 116 points per contest away from home. They're also ranking in the top 10 in offensive field goal percentage on the road as well. Meanwhile, Detroit on the other side, losers of their last 5 straight. They're also just 7-10 against the spread at home. They rank in the bottom 10 in scoring, bottom 5 in offensive rebounding. The Pistons are 11-20 straight up overall for the year, bottom 10 in offensive field goal percentage, bottom 3 in home offensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, Detroit 4-3 to the over in their last 7. Washington 6-2 to the over in their last 8. They're also 12-6 to the over when traveling. I'm going to purchase the half a point, buy it up, and take Washington plus 7 in the over 230 in that game. Next matchup, Knicks taking on the Nets, 7:30 Eastern tip-off in Brooklyn. The Nets are the 7-point favorite, total at 222. We saw a half a point move toward Brooklyn and movement upward on the total. The Nets opened 6.5 up to minus 7. Total opened 221 up to 222. 68% are leaning Brooklyn, 57% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Knicks are plus 255 on the money line. New York's lost their last 3 straight games. They've also dropped 7 out of their last 10. New York ranks dead last in scoring, bottom 3 in offensive field goal percentage. They're just 3-12 straight up away from home this year, bottom 5 in defensive rebounding on the road. Brooklyn on the other side, 3-1 straight up in their last 4, 6-3 straight up in their last 9. They rank in the top 3 in offensive rebounding, top 5 in defensive field goal percentage. Spencer Dinwiddie's averaging 23 points a game, 6 assists. Joe Harris, 15 points a game, 4 rebounds for him. And Taurean Prince, 12 points a game, 6 rebounds for the Nets. Now, Brooklyn ranks in the top 5 in home offensive rebounding, top 10 in home defensive rebounding. They are 9-5 straight up at home this year, 9-5 against the spread in those 14 games. 5 out of their last 8 did stay under the total. Meanwhile, New York 18-13 to the under overall for the year. I'm going to lean Brooklyn minus 7 and the under 222 in that contest. Next game, Spurs taking on the Mavericks, 8 o'clock Dallas. The Mavs are the 6.5-point favorite, total at 227. Not a whole lot of movement on this spread. Pretty good two-way action there. We did see movement upward on the total. Once again, the Mavs open and remain minus 6.5. Total open 226.5 up to 227. Dallas ranks at the top 5 in scoring, top 3 in offensive rebounding. They are 6-4 straight up in their last 10, 19-10 overall for the year. They rank in the top 10 in offensive three-point percentage, top 10 in defensive three-point percentage as well. Kristaps Porzingis is averaging 18 points a game, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Tim Hardaway, 14 points a game for him. This Dallas squad ranks in the top 10 in home scoring, top 10 in home offensive rebounding. Luka Doncic listed as questionable for tonight's action, so there is a chance we could see him in action. Now, San Antonio on the other side, losers in 9 out of their 13 road games this year. They're also just 5-8 against the spread in those 13. They rank in the bottom 10 in points allowed, bottom 10 in defensive rebounding. They are 12-17 straight up on the year, 9-20 against the spread in those 29 games. They rank in the bottom 10 in points allowed on the road, bottom 10 in road defensive field goal percentage. Now, total-wise, San Antonio 7-2 to the over in their last 9. They're also 8-5 to the over when traveling. I'm going to lean Dallas minus 6.5 in the over 227 in that game. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for Thursday's NBA action. But before we dive into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we do daily premium picks on that website beginning at just $1.99 per month. We also have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. And if you want to check out my current record, you can do that for free right now. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. It's right on the homepage. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some more free lines and personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Grizzlies taking on the OKC Thunder. 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off in OKC. Thunder's -6.5, total 224. OKC's 11-5 straight up at home this year, 10-6 against the spread in those 16. They rank the top 5 in offensive field goal percentage, top 10 in defensive rebounding. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 19 points a game, 5 rebounds for him. And Dennis Schroeder, 18 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Now, Chris Paul, he's also averaging 16 points a game, 4 rebounds, 6 assists for OKC. Thunder has won their last 4 straight. They also went 6-3 against the spread in their last 9. They rank in the top 3 in offensive field goal percentage, top 10 in defensive rebounding. Now, Memphis has dropped 3 out of their last 4 games. They also went just 5-8 straight up on the road. They rank in the bottom 5 in points allowed, bottom 5 in defensive three-point percentage. Now, 6 out of Memphis' last 7 did get over the number. OKC is 5-0 to the over in their last 5 themselves. I'm going to lean OKC -6.5 in the over 224 in that contest. Next game, Timberwolves taking on the Kings, 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Sacramento. The Kings are the 4.5-point favorite, total at 221 and a hook. We saw a half-point move towards Sacramento and movement upward on the total. The Kings open -4 up to -4.5. Total open 221 up to 221 and a hook. Sacramento's lost their last 4 straight games. Just 5-7 against the spread at home. They rank in the bottom 5 in scoring, bottom 3 in offensive rebounding. They're also just 2-5 against the spread in their last 7. The Sacramento squad is averaging 105 points per contest. That is it. They rank in the bottom 10 in defensive field goal percentage, bottom 3 in home scoring. Now, 2 out of Minnesota's last 3 games, they did successfully cover the point spread despite their struggles. They're also 9-7 against the spread when traveling this year. They rank in the top 10 in scoring, top 5 in scoring on the road. Andrew Wiggins is averaging 25 points a game, 5 rebounds. And Jeff Teague, 14 points a game, 7 assists for him. Now, big shot Bobby Covington, he's averaging a dozen a game, 5 rebounds as well for Minnesota. The T-Wolves rank in the top 10 in offensive field goal percentage on the road, top 10 in road defensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, Minnesota's 4-0 to the under in their last 4. Sacramento, 60% to the under in their last 10. They're also 8-4 to the under on their home court. I'm going to purchase the half a point, buy it up, and leave Minnesota +5, breaking that horrible skid in the under 221.5 in that game. All right, next and final matchup for the show, it is going to be Blazers taking on the Jazz, 10:30 Eastern tip-off in Utah. The Jazz are the 5.5-point favorite, total at 219 and a hook. We saw a half a point fade of Utah and movement downward on the total. The Jazz open -6 down to -5.5. Total open 220 down to 219.5. 52% are leaning Jazz, 55% shaded toward the over. Right now, Portland is +210 on the money line. Portland's failed to cover the point spread in 6 out of their last 9. They're also just 6-10 straight up on the road this year. They rank in the bottom 10 in points allowed, bottom 3 in defensive rebounding. Now Utah on the other side, 5-1 straight up in their last 6. They're also 5-3 against the spread in their last 8. They rank in the top 3 in offensive three-point percentage, top 10 in points allowed. Donovan Mitchell, 25 points a game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Bojan Bogdanovic, 21 points a game, 5 rebounds for him. And Rudy Gobert, 14 rebounds on average per game, 15 points and 2 blocks. Utah ranks in the top 10 in defensive rebounding, top 10 in home offensive field goal percentage. Now, total-wise, Utah is 2-1 in the under in their last 3. Meanwhile, Portland, 6 out of their last 8 stayed under the total as well. I'm going to lean Utah -5.5 in the under 219.5 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into our quick pick recap. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. I like Utah -5.5 under 219 and a hook. Minnesota +5 under 221.5. Dallas -6.5 over 227. OKC -6.5 over 224. Brooklyn -7, under 222. And last but certainly not least, I like Washington +7 and the over 230 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some shout-outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. Shout out to Ephraim Corpus, Jill Byrne Julian, Thomas Blake, Armando Garcia, Farrah Morgan Cook, Dwayne Lormichich, Patton Cunha, Milagros Tormont, Bobby M, P. Lav, Rocco Alvarez, Evil Dax, Elliot V, Bobby N, Andrew Stirrup, Vernon Williard, Dada Berger, Wyclef Izaboki from Kenya, Niall Baird, Macaroni Tony, Sirac Geb, Walter CG, Shane Meyer, Tom Beasy, Stephen Lewis, Julius Caesar Ramirez, Beamer Ball 4420, and last but certainly not least, shout out to Lewis McSwag. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage, where we do daily premium picks on that website beginning at just $1.99 per month. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. Right now, we're currently 4-0 in our last 4 crowd pleaser teasers on that website. And if you want to check out my current record, you can do that for free right now. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. Once again, that is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, let's go ahead and dive into our Spanish edition, also known as Edición en Español. Yo tengo Utah -5.5 y los bajos. Minnesota con puntos y los bajos. Dallas -6.5 y las altas. OKC -6.5 y las altas. Brooklyn -7 y los bajos. Y final, Washington con puntos y las altas. All right, guys, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Thursday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you on patreon.com/BrockPage.